Thank you for another wonderful panel, well moderated and really stimulating and interesting. I'm going to make a few concluding remarks and then we can use the remainder of the time while the sun might be shining to connect with each other and to further these conversations. When we started what felt like a marathon trail run ago this morning, we talked about the best of times and the worst of times. And I think after listening all day, we heard so much more about the best of times than we did about the worst. But we did hear that there's a piecemeal common law, and that doesn't work for making progress for outdoor recreation. We heard about amenity traps, getting rural communities in particular stuck in places they can't find their way out of. We heard about permits for kids to go outside being prohibitive and difficult to maneuver even when they're planned and regularly used. We heard about the lack of diverse voices in the many spaces where they matter. We heard about the need for air traffic control, right, among the permits and the policies, and we heard about the need for education, for engineering, and for enforcement, because the secret's out, right? And there's no putting those 4.5 million people back, because every day is the 4th of July if you have something as spectacular as what we have here in Boise. We heard about camping in yards and the lack of blue squares, and we heard that not all common knowledge is actually common, right? And knowing that it's not common makes more work for us, but it's good work and it's important work. We heard a little bit more about the existential crisis that COVID brought to the outdoor recreation space and the ways that the shutdown made everyone get out, and how good that is and how worth it is celebrating, although it overwhelmed our local leaders and our landowners. We heard a lot more about recreation as a recruiting tool, and these are the best of times, right? As a recruiting tool for workers that diversifies a tax base. We heard about parktopias, right? And the way they can draw in people that can choose to live anywhere, and they choose to live where they can go half a block or half a mile from their house and be in a place that they love. We heard about the need for latitude to be creative, and for that creative space to be able to connect with people that can deploy it on the ground. We heard about bus stops to trailheads and the importance of infrastructure that connects our urban areas with our outdoor spaces in accessible ways for all kinds of people and all kinds of communities. We heard about slowing down and not getting on the river at the very first break of dawn, but loving and regenerating and taking our time. We heard about fish poop, and we heard about bison barges, and we heard about Boise's bonds that really indicate what people are willing to do to care and to steward the places they love, we love, you love. We heard about finding your park that was overwhelmingly successful, and we heard about all the things. And all the things that the people in this room do, and all the things that our agencies, that are nonprofits, and that our colleagues are working on. We heard about campaigns to respect, connect, and protect. We heard about trends being our friends. And we heard about the ways public lands anchor our communities, our economies, and our souls. We had concrete, clear suggestions: trail signs, river permits, timing for ski passes, right? That have an effect in real time on these places. Every solution isn't 100% solution. And what we heard a lot of today were 2% and 5% and maybe some 50% solutions. We didn't hear maybe as much as we could have about research and university collaborations. I'd like to talk more about those for anyone who's interested. We didn't hear about outdoor rec collaboratives, even though we talked about collaboration in almost every other form. We heard about foundations as pilots, right? And using those pilots to build the rest of the airport. And we heard about untraditional partnerships. I hope we can take the things that we heard, learn more about them, and help our agencies, our elected officials, and our public land stewards default to yes, instead of defaulting to no on these movements that we can all move together. Thank you for being here to the end of the day. Thank you for your generosity in traveling all this way, to our panelists and our moderators. Thank you to our sponsors that made all of this possible, to our brilliant Andrus staff and board that put in all of the intellectual and logistical work to make today happen. This was my inaugural in-person Andrus conference. I'm so glad to be here with you, and I'm so excited to be doing this work into the future. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all being here today. Have a wonderful evening.